Hi again. I think what I didn't show you in the last tutorial is actually what the finished product is going to look like. So that's pretty important that I do that. So here's a quick bit on that. So you can see I've got my sprites, which we did in the last tutorial. You create objects based on them, and then you put events and actions behind that. That's what we're going to be talking about. So in my room I've got my two objects here. When I play the game, what we're trying to achieve is, you can see the mouse, the cat follows the mouse, the computer mouse, and then you can see I've also got the mouse randomly generating around the place, and the idea is you try to get the mouse, and if you do, you get a score. There's a timer that counts down. If the mouse goes off the room, it respawns. If it has a collision with the cat, it respawns. If the timer runs out, it respawns. This up here is just for testing. It's telling me how long that mouse is staying on the screen for, because it's a random number that I'm generating. So we'll do that probably as one of the first things. When you do run out of time, it'll just tell you your score, so 10 seconds, and then end the game. So it's a nice simple game. It could be a lot bigger than this, obviously, but this is just our first foray to creating a simple game. So it tells me my score, 15, gets out. So that's what we're trying to achieve. Okay, so last tutorial we created sprites. This one we've got to create a couple of objects. The objects use the sprites, so I'm going to call this one OCat for object cat, and make sure I use my SCat one and my SCat sprite, and this one's going to be my own mouse, and we should be able to pretty much do everything with these two objects in there. So we'll work on the mouse first. So like I said, we have some events and then some actions that we want to be able to perform. And so the first thing we want the mouse to be able to do is as soon as it's created, so it's add event, a creation event, we want to do some stuff. We want it to randomly move somewhere or go somewhere, and probably maybe change that direction as well. So for a location, X is its location in the X, in the horizontal. So I'm just going to write random. As I start writing, it will come up with a drop down. These are really handy. You can see it says random X here. If I press tab, it will just put that in, and then opportunity to put in some parameters within that. So I want X to be anywhere random within the room width. I want Y to equal random. Oops, needed to put in one more letter there to get random highlighted. Random in the room height. So that will then generate it and randomly put it somewhere. Now, did we put them in the room? No. So I'll put a cat in the room, and I'll put a mouse in the room. So when I press play, you can see I've got the mouse there. It should put it somewhere else. So you see it's popped it down there. If I press play again, it'll actually probably pop it down there again, even though I've asked to be random. So it's a bit annoying. The reason is that computers really good at logic, really bad at random. So if we want it to do something random, we actually need to clear its cache in the GameMaker program, and we do that by running an inbuilt function called randomize. So now when I press play, it will actually clear the cache of the program. Now it should actually choose a random location. Otherwise, it'll keep on giving me the same sequence of random locations, which aren't really random at all. This way, it is actually clearing its cache and then giving me a random location. Hopefully you understand that. If you don't stress. So it says insert description here. Up here, there's some green stuff. Here you can write what the description is. Just commentary on what we want to say. So here we talk about, let's say, mouse movement or something, and then it will just say mouse movement up there. So randomize, we should put in some commentary. We can do that with these little backslashes, 2 backslashes, and then I can say clear program cache. Okay, And then, like I said, this is set x to random and set y location. Should probably like a location in there to random. Alright, great. So that's doing that random thing. Probably another thing I want it to do is not always be the same angle. You know, we want the actual sprite to change angles a little bit. So I'm going to change image angle. You can see there's a built-in variable there. I'm going to press tab just to grab that, and I'm going to say I want it to be equal to random, and I don't really care what that is to start with. Oh, do I want to set that? If I did this random x, I think it's just going to set a random thing each time. So if I click on play, you can see the mouse is changing its image angle, so that's working. The reason I'm humming and hawing is because of this next bit that I want to do is really set the direction to equal the image angle, and probably nothing will look like it changes, but it's going to change in a minute because I actually want to give it a little bit of speed. Equals 1. I've got a feeling this is not going to be quite right because it's moving sideways. So I'm actually just going to add 90 to that. Whoops, not equal 90 but plus 90. There we go. Plus, it might be minus, we'll see in a minute. Oh yeah, so now it's sort of going at a speed. I'll play that again. Yep, so that's sort of working. This image angle equals random x. I'm not sure that we need that anymore, because it should just be able to follow the direction. That was just to get it, so I don't need that actually. But the what I've got is I've got it now so that set direction. I'm setting the direction, so that's really getting it ready for the speed. So when I allocate speed, it knows what direction to go in. To image angle, so image orientation, yeah, sort of setting the direction variable to whatever that is. Plus 90 to account for it's basically the sprite orientation, and then speed equals 1 is move. I'll just say move. That's what it's doing. So I'm going to save the program. So then we've got it going along. Fantastic. The thing is, we want it to only stay for a certain amount of time. So I want to set a variable. We can set a variable easy enough. So TTL is time to live. That's what I'm using it for, time to live. So it's time that we want this object to live for. And this time I'm going to do a random range. So I want it to be between something or other. Now, have to put in down the bottom, you see it actually says choose two numbers, x1 and x2. Like what is the range, like from 10 to 50 or whatever. The numbers though, our frame rate is set by default at 30 frames per second. So if I put in 30, that means that the mouse would stay there for 30 seconds approximately, because it depends on the processing power of your machine, but close enough. So it's because the random range, if I did 30, it would be 1 second. So it's not that long, is it? So maybe you'll do a little bit less than 1 second. So I'm going to go, we'll do 1 second. So anywhere from 1 second to how many seconds do we reckon should take us to get around the screen? Maybe 5, so it's 150. So anywhere from, so that's the time to live. You would have noticed that it had a little red thingy up here. It's unhappy. It says number of arguments expected 2, got 1. Now put 1 argument in. Down the bottom you can see it's expecting a second argument. That's why it was red, and that red disappears if I get it right. So time to live equals that. And what I'm going to do with that time to live is I'm going to set an alarm and use the little square brackets which are underneath your plus and equals on your keyboard. I think, or somewhere. Your keyboard might be a bit different to mine. I've got one an HP Pro sitting behind me, but I won't go and have a look at it. You can work it out. So alarm 0 equals TTL. So I'm setting the alarm to start running, so that starts the alarm going, just like on your phone, you set an alarm to start going, and I'm setting it to go for whatever that random range is. Whatever, let's say, pumped out 100, it means the alarm's going to go for 100 ticks. So that's setting the alarm, and then I need to say, okay, what happens when the alarm goes off? So under here, alarm 0, when the alarm goes off, I'm going to copy and paste, because basically I want to do all that stuff again. There we go. So when the alarm goes off, do all that stuff again. So hopefully now, let's have a look. When it's created, it should generate, randomly put it somewhere, move, start the alarm. When the alarm goes off, it should do it all again and start running the alarm again. So let's have a look and see. The mouse should be hopefully spawning for a little bit of time and then disappear and spawn somewhere else. Hopefully it changes direction and speed. Oh, it's not doing direction and speed. Very good, is it? So I think I need to put in, yeah, okay, I need to set the image angle. What's happening is that image angle isn't random, so the image angle is never changing, so I do need that. So I'm going to put in there image angle, so that when it spawns it changes its angle to something. That's better. And then it's after a period of time, random period of time, that wasn't very long, that one, it should move somewhere else. Now it's going pretty quick, it's not giving me much time, so I might just up those numbers a little bit. So maybe we'll go 50 up to 300. So just playing with this, getting it a little bit better. So I'll play that. Oh, it's been going for ages, this tutorial, so I'll get out of this one, do another one. It should hopefully. We've got another problem with it going off the screen as well. But it is working. I'll quickly fix that off the screen one and then wrap this up. So I'm going to add an event, and this time I'm just going to put in under other, there is an outside room, and I basically just want to copy and paste this again. But this is a problem really when we're coding. We don't want to have to keep on copying and pasting code. We call it redundant code now, because I've got the same code in 3 different places. So instead, usually you create your own function, and then you just call that function at those different times when you want to run that code. In GameMaker, it's called a script. So I'm actually going to create a script here. I'm going to call this SC spawn. Okay, because it's going to handle spawning of my mouse, and in my object for my mouse, I'm going to grab that code and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to put it in here. So I've now got it in 4 places. All right. I should put some commentary in here. Set time to live for object to a random amount. And in this one, start alarm running to that amount. Great. Save that. So I've got my script there, and then for my mouse, instead of when it's created doing all that stuff, I'm just going to create my spawn event. Spawn object. I might just copy that. When the alarm goes off, I want to spawn object. I'm just going to get rid of all the description, I don't really need that. And when it's outside the room, I want to spawn object. Okay, so now hopefully what happens when I play this, it's created, it spawns the object, starts the alarm running, there we go, respawns the object when the alarm goes off, and then I'll give it a couple more, see if we can get one going off the room. Also, when it goes outside the room, it'll also respawn the object. So it means it's containing it to the room all the time. This tutorial's been going for almost 15 minutes. It's a very long tutorial, so apologies, but that should help you get the object for the mouse going and working correctly. It doesn't look like it's going to hop off the room. Oh, this one might. If it goes off the room, it should respawn. Yay.